The entire discussion today, the way that we've looked at it, is to talk about something that we always shelve it. To say it's something so pure, something so, it's like a God-given gift which just keeps calling you every time, and we tend to not answer to it anytime that it knocks at our door. Yeah, the talk today that we're going to be talking about is related to dreams, destinies, and desires. With me are three beautiful individuals who walked that path and who are going to be taking us through their journey and tell us how was the journey, and is it something that we can all attempt, or is it only for people who are braveful of doing it? To tell you about the three of them who are with us today, firstly is Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna, for everybody who's joined us from PES, I don't think I have to even introduce. For me, the way that I know him is he's a student of PES, one of the most notorious. I'm sure a lot of people will know and say, okay, is Radha Krishna somebody who really is going to talk about dreams and desires? But people who know him personally, I'm sure they know it. The reason that I chose, I think at least for 7 years now, that I think 9 years that I know him now, every time he's spoken about food and spoken about food in the most fantastic way, and he has his own journey that he's gone through. So he's going to be talking to us about being an engineer, from there to becoming a chef. How was the journey and why did he do it? Thank you for joining, Radha Krishna. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and the second person with us is Ritesh Bhatt. Ritesh is somebody whom I know from Christ College, and I think for more than 20 years now that we've known each other. Ritesh, the reason that he's going to be, he's here on this call, and what he's going to be addressing is, I'll tell you how I know Ritesh, right? So Ritesh for me was a very silent kid in Christ who wouldn't get onto stage, do anything. He's like, I'm going to be sitting in class, not doing anything at all. And 20 years down the lane, I think until the last 3 years before, right, Ritesh? If I'm not,
Yes.
3 years before, I see his Instagram flooded with pictures of him going on stage, and I'm like, okay, what is this guy really trying to do? And he was the Ravan in the most famous Ram Leela that happens in the US. And yeah, I think he discovered that he wanted to get into theater very later in life, and he followed his passion. So he's going to be talking to us about, can we really do follow our dream in spite of doing the rest of our work? Is it even possible to do it? The third person with us is Prashant. Prashant, can you say hello to our people?
Hello. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, so Prashant is somebody who's done civil services. I mean, who followed civil services for at least 6 years, Prashant. He chased civil services. He sacrificed everything for it. And it was one journey that I think for all of us, we will have to look into and understand how the journey was and what really happened. Yes, he did not probably reach the destiny that he thought initially he wanted to actually go to, but I'm sure the destiny that he's met now is much more beautiful and satisfying than what he would have thought about it initially. So like what I told earlier in my post about Prashant, I think if he had actually been whatever that he wanted to be, he would have been one big tree in a piece of land. Today, I think that one seed that he sowed years ago in his head is becoming a huge, massive forest, where he's going and trying to tell people who are walking that same journey and trying to tell them how to become more successful, telling people of what we usually call as failure, where he's trying to say, yes, I did something, I will tell you what I did, and I'll tell you what you should not do. So I think these three lives are something that I'm super duper impressed about, and I thought we should listen to them, because even I at times tend to shelve my dreams. Project Nyan, especially for me, it's been like in my head for at least 3 years, and I've always been giving reasons of why I don't want to do it. And I couldn't think of a better topic for today than to talk about dreams, destinies, and desires. So over to all three of you guys. Thank you so much for joining once again, and we can get started. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Perfect. So if you can, what I've done is just spoken very candidly about what your journeys are. If you can take us through one after the other of what your journey has been, and what does dream really mean to you guys, and what went into it for you to, for you to even look at the destiny? If you can share a few insights about your own journey, will be nice. Radhakrishna, do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll do that. So, like you said, I was your student way back in 2011, I guess. That was when we first met. But you were also my computer teacher in first year of engineering, first sem. That is when we first had an interaction. So, way back then, I was, I'll cut short to engineering time. That is when I was not really into engineering. I was doing it for the sake of my parents and my grandfather who was alive back then. So I was doing it to, as a juvenile dream, as in I was always interested in going into the hospitality sector, but my parents and the elderly thought that, it was just a juvenile dream and it will fade away eventually. So halfway into engineering, I was still not into it. So this time around, I had to convince them. So I went to Mangalore. I spoke to my granddad. Told him that this was not what I dream of. Then he told me, you should get the degree out of it, come back and do whatever you want. Then one mission accomplished, I came back to my mom, who was my second step in the hurdle, and told her that this was not my cup of tea. Again, the same thing came back. You have to finish a degree, get a degree out of it, and then we'll think about it. And then dad encouraged and told me that, finish everything, then we'll get you into BHM. So that became a mission in life and engineering that, I had to get this done and start off with BHM. So immediately applied with Christ in the final year and got through with Christ. And it was a journey since then to be in the hospitality industry, train myself to be in the kitchen or be in the front of a restaurant and manage a restaurant, or be the face of the food.
Yeah.
Or curate a menu that will speak volumes. So that was the dream that was I was looking out to, and that has always been the thing that I wanted to do. And I think in 2017, that is where BHM ended, and I came out of it with a gold medal in the university for that stream. And with that dream completed, it became a dream to accomplish something in this food industry. So it is a step-by-step process. It is not that one thing is done, you are done with the whole task. And it's an incremental process going on in the food industry right now.
Yeah, in fact, Radhakrishna, while you talk, if you remember Nitin Pujari sir from PES, he's also watching us, which is a big, big privilege. He's here to, to even see what our journey has been. So for people who are from PES, guys, Nitin Pujari sir is also here. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for joining this discussion. And yeah, all four of us are engineers trying to do different things, right? So we are all trying to explore different worlds. And there are a lot of teenagers out there, Radhakrishna, who have all chosen probably engineering or something like that. I'm sure your story today that you're going to be putting it forward will be something inspiring for them to take away.
Yeah, definitely. So a little bit more about engineering and medical. I would suggest all the parents, all the students out there, just to take a look at all the fields that are available out there. Don't push it into a science stream or anything. Look at all the creative fields that are there. Every field is equally good and equally, there are opportunities coming out. If you look at the statistics of a CA in India, it is, I think, at 0.5% or 1% of the total population is CA. I'm not really sure about the numbers, but do take a look.
Yeah.
The numbers are very grim. So we can encourage them into those streams. There are a lot of opportunities opening up in economics and all the other streams. So I think we should definitely look at multiple avenues and not just a single 2 or a 3 avenue road to build on that.
Yeah. Thank you, RK. Over to you, Prashant. Tell us about your journey.
Each one's journey will be different. So mine was comparatively different when I look at what Radhakrishna dreamt of. At some point of time, my father kept telling me that, look, I have been an employee. I want my son to be an officer. So somewhere that crept in very deep into me. And being into a class where we always look at sustenance and also dream of big things, we always are in a space where we'll have to make the compromise, or we'll always have to think, look, I have to get settled first. I have to ensure that things are in place first, and then I have to look up. So I will definitely talk about the journey of 6 years and how I continue to do that now. But for all the youngsters who are watching, and for all of us who had questions, definitely of can we even dream of it? So many things around us. Yes, practically speaking, you will always have many things around. But when you have a dream and you're very passionate about it, I'm sure that passion is something that will take you around. There's that very famous Chinese proverb which says, when you know the destination that you want to reach to, the world will make way for you. So that probably happened. 2009, I graduated. I always knew I didn't want to do a tech job, though being an electronics engineer myself. So I joined in as a talent transformation executive in Jain University. I worked in electronics department as an assistant, teaching assistant, and I was talent transformation executive. So managing multiple things, I always wanted to go in the management administration field. 2011 came the calling. I knew the time has come because this field required dedication, full-time work. And unfortunately, back then, Bangalore did not have the required space and the idea of us grooming into the idea of civil services. So we had to either go to Chennai or Delhi. And guided by some good friends and spaces, I shifted to Delhi. So 2011 June, I was in Delhi. And 2011 June to 2018 June, I was in Delhi, continuous 6 attempts. I gave 5 mains, I attended interview, I reached the final stage. I was just there, I've taken my medical, complete done. One final result was pending and it was 8 marks, which kept things away. So yes, if I look back of what went through, I'm in 2020 now, 2 years that I've completed attempt, and I'm into an arena where there are thousands and lakhs together who every year dream the same, and we guide the students through. So the journey will always have its obstacles. The journey will always have its compromises, plus and minus. You lose many things. You're enriched with many things. So as always, it's always best to see the brighter side of it. And trust me, life ahead will be the best with what you have learned. So that's how it's been. So all of us, if you look at, I'll give you one small example before I close my starting comments. If you're looking at the current situation, every single person who is working on ground from the government side, as bureaucrats, as police officers, are all those who've been along with us on journey. So I know most of them in Karnataka, across in Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, who've been officers today. And at the same time, in the social sector, who of them are working as NGOs, or all of us who are contributing our own means to it, most of them have also been. So this is one area where you will really get to do what you want to do. So dream is not a destination. Dream is not somewhere you stop and you achieve that. Dream is a journey that you go through, and that journey will have multiple things that will enrich you as a person. In the moment you enrich your own self, and you also contribute to the society. So that's how it's been.
Prashant, I think, one point that I would want you to probably, take us through is, I'm from a middle class family, right? So if any of us are from the middle class family, can we even dream of something like that? Because the uncertainty is very high, and you've walked that path. Will you even now tell people you can dream on that after going through the entire journey and for whatever that's come across? Would you still suggest people to go ahead with that dream? What do you say?
See, as somebody who's gone through that, I at this point of time feel I also have a little more to contribute by making most of them in our class of economics to understand that yes, we can also dream. Probably at times it just takes that one step and one push that somebody else can give us, or something that we internally feel it. Yes, finances will always be there, but today there are opportunities abound. You just have to look up and walk it on. What is required is you have to be very sure of what you want to do. You have to be very focused of what you want to do. So having a dream is only the first step. Knowing it thoroughly, going it the right way, and every time reassuring yourself that you're doing the right thing. You need not be judged. You need not be worried about what people judge about you, because in this journey, there are n number of times where you will get people talking about or people around telling about. But as long as you're sure of what you're doing and you're clear about what you're doing, your focus is in the right place, you should walk. And I am one example where I did not reach that final step. I have hundreds of examples around me with much worse conditions who reach that final step. So that's how it can always be. Everybody can.
Thank you so much for sharing that journey, because for people to talk about success is very easy, whatever that we defined as success, right? For you to come out and tell us saying it's still okay to do it. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing this with us, Prashant.
Pleasure.
Over to you, Ritesh. So how did this dream happen? What really happened through the thing? I will pull up your pictures and show the people by then, but if you can quickly take us through how did your dream happen and what was the journey? Please share it with us.
I think one of the first things is, back in 2004-05, when I was in Christ Junior College in Bangalore, like Kripalani said, I was mostly this silent person who didn't know what was I doing in Christ. It was actually my father who said, why don't you go and join Christ? Because, it's very important to kind of polish your skills in language. And it was very important to have that, to face this world, which unfortunately or fortunately depends on English, at least for now. And back there, it was so difficult to mingle with the audience, with the crowd in Christ. It's all very forward. I felt out of place, to be honest, and that's why I was silent.
Yeah.
And looking up at the stage when Christ used to have all this amazing over-the-top fests, it came to my mind like, oh my God, this stage is literally untouchable. There's no way I can get on this stage. And that's where probably a dream already fell through. It never came through. But as my journey progressed, I went for my engineering in Shimoga, a very small town in Karnataka. And that kind of showed me the different skills and possibly a little bit of talent that I had within me. And a dream starts with confidence. You should have the confidence to dream, and you should have a confidence to visualize where the dream will take you. It will obviously take you to a lot of places: success, failure, frustration, conflicts, whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately in 2017, I currently stay in New Jersey, in the US. And it is my cricket team. We have a cricket team here, a group of friends. And someone in that group posted saying, hey, auditions are open for Ram Leela. And I never knew that such a event happens in the city. And I think it was one of my friends who posted and said that, would you like to audition? And there was nothing in my mind at that point of time. Me and my wife told me, let's go, let's give an audition and see how it goes. And I went initially, it was me who went. And I was actually scheduled to audition for Vishwamitra's role. And it was my teacher. And again, let me quickly give a 2-second thank you for her. Her name is Paromita Banerjee, and she runs Nritya Leena Center for Arts here in the city. She's the one who kind of possibly saw a different character other than Vishwamitra in me. And then obviously the cast and crew who across the 3 years who supported me so well, it's not possible without them.
Yeah.
So in 2017, I auditioned for the role of Vishwamitra. Paromita was like, okay, Vishwamitra is coming out well. And then I was like, when I went back home, I'm like, I think I can do more. I think I can do more finally came out of my mouth. That is where it starts. You have to feel you can do it. And then I told her, is there any other role that I can audition for? And that year in 2017, the Ravan who was Atul, who played Ravan the previous year, he unfortunately had to move to a different state. So the role was up for the taking, right? So she auditioned me for Ravan, and I don't know, but she possibly saw, was it the voice or probably the stance, the stature, whatever it was. She felt that let's do it. Let's try you out with Ravan. And then it just came along. Being Ravan itself is just so extremely difficult. I cannot even tell the audience how difficult it is. Yeah. And I've asked so many people for feedback, for inputs. And as you see on the screen, again, thanks Abhishek Mishra for capturing this unbelievable picture of that's exactly what it is. We are always in disguise. If we don't know what we are, we'll always be in disguise. And that's the reason why it's so important to come out of it. When I did Ravan in 2017, it was in a big school, an audience of probably 150 200 people, and it was so exciting to come on stage with all the lights and whatnot. But I think what I really felt was the sense of happiness that I am finally able to be me. I think all my friends who know me know that Ritesh is a fun-loving, jovial kind of a person.
Yeah.
But I think for myself, the sense of putting my first step towards a possible dream was on stage. That's where I felt I belonged. So 2017 was Ravan, and 2018, 360-degree change was Ram. I mean, I can't even imagine I still did it. I think it was horrible on my side. I think I didn't do it well. A lot of people think otherwise, but I think it's so difficult to live a dream along with having a family.
Yeah.
For all the sacrifices my wife might have made at various points in time, I also have a son now. He's 2 years old, extremely naughty. If you look at my eyes, I haven't slept. He was awake from 2 to 5 in the morning. It all comes as a package, and you need to know how to receive it and actually make something out of it. So from Ravan in 2017, Ram 2018, and again coming back as Ravan in 2019, people, the little kids, when I perform as Ravan on stage, when I laugh or when I come on stage, the kids are the ones who were most affected. Even now, if I meet some of the kids in the lawn, they're still planning how to kill me. The kind of inspiration you can give someone to provide that message for victory over good, victory of the good over the evil, can come in so many different ways, whether it's RK's way, whether it is Prashant's way of saluting our brave front workers. There's always a way out. So I think each of us can contribute.
Yeah, Ritesh, see, what is challenging for a lot of us, right? It's nice to know that your story has been this way, but how do I make time, Ritesh? How do I make time to accommodate all this? Isn't that the bigger challenge? Because I have a lot of dreams. I'm talking on behalf of everybody who's joined here. We have a lot of dreams. So how do I accommodate and make time? I feel I have to sacrifice my professional life to do this. Isn't that how it is?
And that is where that's a fantastic question. What you need to understand is ultimately you're in a social life. You're living with others. So to speak to others and understand if there is space for you to understand them too. You cannot be the only soul warrior who go out there and look at your dream. Everyone has dreams. The time when you listen and understand and see that there are other, for example, there's my wife, there's my kid, they're my friends, they're my family. If you know how to match them a little bit, but still, passion is the most important thing. Like Prashant earlier said, if you have your passion, the others will see it. The others will see that, oh my God, he absolutely loves doing this. If my loved ones love me, they'll obviously understand that, no matter what, whether it was going for rehearsals for a couple of hours in the evening, ensuring that I take my kid along, all of that needs passion.
Yeah.
I think that's important. You need to go behind that. And for me, anyone who says he's busy, it just doesn't make sense for me. If you have a minute or so, you can always talk to your parents. You can always talk to your friends, no matter what. So don't give the bahana of time. It is a bahana.
Thank you, Ritesh. Yeah, I think, that makes sense because probably it's because, nobody is auditing me on that dream. It's just me who has to take care. I think it's more to do with me managing my own self and taking that tiny little steps. That is what I take away from what you said. RK, so yeah, it's very difficult to call him Radha Krishna. I don't know why. So I'll call him RK instead. RK, so I want to know from you saying, you went through this entire journey. You became a chef. And, I've seen how much love you put into every plate of food that comes out of your restaurant. I've seen you look at, every plate coming out. I've seen you look at when people leave the food back on the plate, you go check what has happened. What's happening now with the COVID times, RK? Do you regret saying, why did I even do this? Because yours is the field which has been massively hit, right? And you don't know if you can really open your stores again, if you can really go back and do anything. You regret following your dream because for a lot of us, right? I think that's the problem. We get scared
Yes.
about, can I really do this? If I do this, what if I fail? So I think,
Exactly.
how are you managing that, RK? What do you think about it?
So, firstly, with COVID, we have been shut for 2 months now. I think tomorrow will be the 2 month lock-in period that we would have completed. We closed on the 13th of March.
Yeah.
So, it's a tremendous process. You will have to think about a lot of aspects. So you'll have to think about your employees. You'll have to think about your vendors and all of that. So that's a different issue to tackle with. But the first issue that we always want to tackle with is our employees. So even to this day, my partner is giving lunch, dinner, everything as an accommodation, everything to all the employees who are stuck in Bangalore with us. We have tried to open our restaurant at the at many junctions in the last 1 month.
Yeah.
But the biggest challenge for us is if our employee gets infected with it.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to take that risk and open it for the public or takeaway and all of it. Now that the situation is kind of sorting itself out, we will definitely open. But it's a huge challenge, irrespective of COVID or not. This came in. You will have to think about a lot of things. How will you revive yourself? How will you go back to doing it? Irrespective of hospitality or this place where I am at work. Imagine if I was in any corporate, what if I had been laid off?
Yeah.
So that level of uncertainty is there with anything that you do in life.
Yeah.
You don't have to always think that you chose this because of that, you're being here. Yes, 2 months have been productive months for me. I think we have been constantly going on doing our recipe research, and we have been trying to do a lot of menu variations. We are trying to understand how the new business model will work, because post this, I don't think so people will come back to the restaurants the way they used to. The social distancing is going to be in place until there is a vaccine in sight, and that is effective. So how are we going to deal with this? It's not just a challenge of hospitality in perspective. Aviation is also another unit that has taken a huge hit. So in terms of our restaurant, we are trying to take it online. We are trying to be more responsible towards our customers. Try and see if there is a service model available over there where customers can be seated. Even though the full restaurant capacity is, let's say, at 200, can we do a half full restaurant and run the show?
Yeah.
So there are all the challenges that we are looking at. More than the guests coming in, we have to be aware of our employees who are there.
Correct.
Because they are the first source of infections because it can come through any source.
Yeah.
So we'll have to think about them. So post COVID-19 is a huge challenge, but it's a huge opportunity is what we feel. What I feel or what our partners feel is that we are looking at conquering this opportunity and riding this wave.
Yeah. So what I hear from what you're saying is, even if I go through failures, even if I think that there's something which is coming as a hurdle, I hear you saying, take that one small step, look at that smaller steps, don't look at the entire thing. Try doing small things every day so that you can reach and you can, go ahead of that hurdle and then get rid of it. Is that right, RK?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. So what I'm trying to tell is, if you're dreaming something, as in it can't be. First, I have a 3-step process to this. So how do you dream? You should have a realistic dream. That's the first point. What do you mean by realistic dream? So you can't get up in the morning and say, I'm going to be Captain America, I'm going to save the nation. That is not the thing that we run the world with. So the realistic dream is something that is achievable in this real world, something that you have to do. So once you identify that, you'll have to look at how it is achievable. Is it a multiple step process? Is it a single step process? So for example, a dream to be a good, better person. So it involves a lot of parameters. For example, better person can involve, I should be a role model to the society and all of that. So that has multiple processes. For me, the example is, let's take me as an example. So I want to be in the hospitality industry. That's the first dream that I wrote down. So the second step for me is to write down, how am I going to get this done? So break that into steps. Make that a stepwise approach.
Yeah.
So look at each step and iterate it. How are you going to do it? How are you going to write about it? How are you going to, what if you encounter failure there? How are you
Yeah.
going to overcome that?
Yeah.
So make that process as elaborate as possible, as in write it down and see how it is.
Hmm.
And the third step is to identify mentors, identify people in that field who will help
Yeah.
you achieve your goals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this three-step process is an iterative process. So you keep going back to the entire step again and again.
Yeah.
You just because see I finished BHM doesn't mean that my step is over. Now, how do I start a restaurant? How do we
Yeah.
keep iterating there? So you keep building from there. It's a like we mentioned, all of us are mentioning that a dream is not one step that you conquer in the world and you're done with. It's an
Yeah.
iterative process. You keep doing it. It's a journey for a lifelong measure till you're here. So go ahead, dream about it, and use these three steps.
Yeah.
This helped me a lot. This is up to most of you guys to go through it. I think everyone would have done it in their life, knowingly or unknowingly.
Unknowingly. Correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree.
use
Yeah.
that and build on a more knowing approach and go
Yeah.
face that dream.
Thank you so much, RK. Thanks on that. And there's wonderful questions coming in. So, guys, please keep posting your questions. We will be taking all your questions in the last 10 to 15 minutes. And most of the things that I'm asking is the questions that you people had asked us in the stories when we had posted. So, Prashant, over to you. What I want to know is, Prashant, see, the biggest problem is, what if I fail, right? A lot of us don't take up our dream because of the fear of failure. And I think that as because it's very pure in my head. When I'm sitting with it, I feel there's nobody around. It's just me, and I'm in awe. I'm very happy. I'm very happy in my mind. But the moment I come back to reality, I'm like, shit, this is scary. I can't do this. Why should I do this? I have to let go of my comfort zone and try this. What do I do with that fear, Prashant? How do I manage that fear? Why should I, should I even take that step? Because you did it. So tell me, what are your tricks if I have to do it?
I will answer this question taking a cue from what RK said also. See, I'll put that in more common terms because with respect to a dream, now when you say about awareness, it's all about we should know clearly what we are doing. And here the problem in our society is two. One is a personal aversion to do that, go that extra mile for what you want to do. And two is also systemic, because after 10th standard, what is to be done is a choice that the aspirant or the student makes less and is told to him more. So it starts from then. So if somebody wants to take up arts, he's immediately branded as somebody who is not very serious with studies.
Correct.
So science is for all the serious students who are out to do something there.
Yeah.
If that is on one side, the other side problem with the system of education is, if you choose arts, your touch with subjects like maths and ideas which are necessary at that point of time will be lost.
Yeah.
So probably 6 years down the lane, the last time you would have touched numbers required throughout is 10th standard. So you would have a 6-7 year gap, and any competitive exam demands you to know basic aptitude. So this is a systemic problem also we need to fix. So that's a little far-fetched talking at this point of time, but that's some work that we need to do now also. Probably a bridge course for the state syllabus students who are doing their +2 education, where there are maths or basic numbering, which they keep in touch with. On the other side, coming to the question of fear of failure, see, failure is how do we see it? Now, tell me one choice where there'll be no failure involved. Now, the moment RK decides to try a new recipe, and he will always know that it can work very well, and somebody can just throw it back and say, this is nothing. The moment Ritesh decides to go on stage with everything all set, and something goes out, he blanks out on the stage, something really blank. Right? Everything is well set for a session today, and there is automatically a power cut, and something really bad happens, and all of a sudden the session is off. So everywhere there is failure involved. But yes, when we are making a decision for our life and we know that we are giving good enough time, like when Prashant knew that he's making a choice of civil services,
Yeah.
and it's too uncertain, that the success ratio is too less. I told myself that I'm giving 2 years, and within 2 years, if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, I'm through. I'm doing something else. But then when I got in, the enrichment I saw in myself, the ideas I'd acquired to myself, I was sure within myself I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that I'm on the right path. At some point of time, if you're very honest to yourself, it's very important for anybody following a dream to be honest to his own self, to be committed to his own self. He did not prove anything to the world. He needs to be honest to his own self. And if that is there, then the failure will only look at a learning. Failure will only seem that you learn something that I did not go through this time, so probably something just laid back. So I learned that, I'll clear it up next time. So that continued after 6 years, and when I knew that it's not happening and it's over, now it was the time for me to fix that. For example, for me to understand the ecosystem of civil services took 2 years to understand how this really works. Now, for somebody who comes with a background, somebody who has a family member who's already done, that probably would not have been so. And most of us are first generation learners. To get that, to understand, today, I spend at least 50% of my time throughout a year in giving that basic awareness, in bridging that time. So what I took 2 years should be 2 months for all youngsters who dream of becoming civil servants. So that career awareness session that happens right from 10th standard to 12th standard, that immediate jump of desire, somebody feels, no, I want to become an IAS officer, I have 1 year and help me become. It doesn't happen that way. So you will have to balance multiple things. So don't see failure as something that really big that will burden you and you're over with that. Failure is a very big learning that can add to you and can really make a journey meaningful. So in that sense, you have to fight failure, and failure is something everybody have to fight.
Yes, I think that's very nicely told, Prashant. What I think a lot of us believe is our comfort zones don't have failures. I think even those have. Just that I'm blindsided to it, and that's why probably I never looked at it. But this, what you said, makes a lot of sense. I think it's there everywhere, right?
So many quotations, but then sometimes these are things that really hit. So there was this extempo that we were into, and the first topic that came in was, ships are safe in the harbor, but they're not meant for that. So in your comfort zone, you always feel good. But question is, are you meant for that? Number one. Number two, many times pessimism, negativity is also a very big comfort zone. It always tells you that, don't go there, there's something there. Don't go here, there's something there. That's also.
Thank you so much, Prashant. RK, there's some beautiful questions which has come. So not RK, Ritesh. So I will ask you that and then pass it on to RK. So question to you, Ritesh, is when do I know that my dream is an illusion and practically too big to execute? Is it an illusion or is it possible to execute? When do I know it? Should I give up or continue to struggle? What should I do? Very nice question. This is from somebody called Harsha. What is your answer to it?
Good question, Harsha. I think when we talk about dreams, right, like RK initially mentioned, it should be realistically possible, number one. So like he said, if you want to be Captain America, that's possibly not possible. But at the same time, if you decide this is your dream, it is possibly 100 times in the way you will realize this is it. I have to give up, right? And you have to keep on telling yourself that the end result is where you will possibly reach a constant state of happiness. And every time that I fail I make more friends. Every time you fail, you will make friends who have failed along, who will give you inputs to ensure that you continue on the success path. The journey is never going to be easy. It's going to be full of obstacles. It's going to be of people who will put you down. It's going to be of situations that will put you down. And all of us have other responsibilities as well. Exactly. If you take my example, I'm also, working in the IT industry. So that is a separate job. And then, having a kid is a separate job. And along with that, this dream itself, it needs a lot of mental awareness saying, if I want to continue to be happy, I need to stand up for my dream. like how you take a stand. Let's say there's something happening between three friends. You have to take a stand for the right or the wrong. You cannot be neutral all the time and just decide that you're not going to do anything. And to answer exactly what Harsha is asking, Harsha, when you fall is when you learn, and when you learn is when you get up back again and continue on the path of your dream. Do not, at that point of time, do not let anyone tell you that you cannot do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to talk to yourself. It's also important at times to pat yourself, saying those are the 2-3 things. Before I failed, I was doing good. And there are so many examples, whether it's Sachin Tendulkar or so many different personalities from different fields. We look up to people who give us inspiration, but ultimately the person who inspires you is yourself, because you know yourself the best. Whether it is your negatives or positives, you know it better than anyone else. All you need to do is ask yourself and appreciate yourself for some of the good things that you have done, and also be very critical of things which you're not doing well.
So what I hear from you is, Ritesh, I think, my takeaway is I have to really fall in love with myself. First thing for me,
Exactly.
to really support myself and to stand for myself, because I think that's what is the most difficult part for me. And the second point is, when I'm going wrong, I think I should also know how to mentor myself and sit down and talk back to myself and say, hey, you know what, you've actually screwed up and you have to be able to fix it. I think that internal conversation is what you're trying to say. Is that right?
Yes, an internal conversation is an absolute must. And what is also important is, at least when I do theater, it is important to ask your fellow actors, because they are the ones who are watching you, right? If I were to talk about my group, we always keep asking each other. We take each other's videos. We sit and carefully analyze what is going wrong. I ask my dad. My dad is like, the first year when I did Ravan in 27, he's like, no, your walk is not right. That's the first thing he said. And that's bang on target. I looked at the videos and I could see that, I possibly need to free up myself a lot more. Or when I did Ram the next year, it was a total disaster initially when I started. But my teacher, my friends, everyone said that you can do it. And it's a bit of both, an internal conversation and ensuring that you ask for inputs. Nothing wrong in knowing that you're making mistakes.
Thanks, Ritesh. That was beautiful. RK, I think you're the right person to answer this question. This is from Niladri. He's named himself something else, so I know, but I still see the picture and I know who that guy is. So he says, some people, when they can't reach their dreams, take the extreme step. Why is that, and what's going on in their minds? If you had failed becoming a chef, would you have taken that extreme step? Or why do people take that step, Radhakrishna? Why do people decide to go to that extreme side?
I don't know what extreme step he's talking about. If he's talking about taking his own life, then that's not an extreme step that you should be looking at. Extreme step that you should be looking at is rectifying that. Rectifying your failure. The possibility is, why I can't go on to be a chef or go on to be in the hospitality industry is the first question you need to answer. Are you not fit into the hospitality industry, or is this not your cup of tea? There are various aspects that can come in, but what is that extreme step that you should go and kill yourself is something that I think is a ridiculous thing to do, or
What do you think would be going on in their minds when they take that step, RK? If somebody has taken it, what can you even connect the dots to?
I think I can, but I think they would have been thinking that the failure is their ultimate decider. So since they have failed, I don't think so they have the courage to face the world and tell the world that they have failed. A successful person is not judged on his success. Rather, a successful person is judged more on how he's dealing with failures. So how he's going to project himself when failures occur. That is when a successful person's character comes in place. So more than anything else, dealing with failure is very, very important. It's just a single step in the whole journey that you're going to take. If there is no failure, then you'll be invincible. That every step that you think you take, you think that you're taking the right step, and there is no one going to oppose you. Even if they oppose you, you'll tell that you've been right all your life.
Yeah.
So failure is just a corrective measure in your entire journey that you have taken so far. So failure is very, very important according to me. And the more you fail, the more you learn, and that many opportunities you get to get back on your feet.
Yeah, and I also connect back to what you said earlier, RK, where you were saying, it's not one dream. So probably that one dream leads to another dream to another dream. So one success to another success. I think the same way, one failure in one does not define saying my life ends. There's a lot more that I can see.
Definitely. So I would just want to read out. There are many, many instances where history has told us a lot of things.
Yeah.
Henry Ford, who is the founder of Ford, mentioned that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So you have already decided. If you can, you're already right. If you can't, you're already right. So it's here that you have already put that mental blockage off. So the first step, I think every person who wants to dream has to make it a step as to do. So he has to make a mental note that he or she can.
Yeah.
That is where things start to change. Everything around them starts to change.
Yeah.
So there will be people near and dear also who will put you down. But that is their protective, instinct coming in to protect that person from doing something extreme.
Yeah.
So don't take it in a bad manner. Just ensure that you're taking a whole learning out of it, and ensure that you're doing something right. Like I've been mentioning, we have all been mentioning, it should be a realistic dream.
Yeah.
Not something that tomorrow you wake up and you'll tell I'll finish IAS in 1 year, which practically might not be possible or might be possible. But have a realistic roadmap as to where you want to go.
Yeah. Thanks, RK, on that. There's another question here to you, Prashant. I think you will be the right one to answer. This is from Anantamurthy. This person says, in the process of dreaming and achieving, one will have turning points if proper decision is made or not at that particular point of time. It may be difficult to achieve. Can you share saying, when you went through this journey, Prashant, a lot of times you might have felt probably my decision is wrong, like what Anantamurthy is asking. A lot of decision pointers. What went through your mind? How did you make decisions? What was that was there for you to take a yes or a no? How did you make a choice of a path?
Yeah. See, the idea is the first step, we need to be completely sure of what we are doing.
Yeah.
And we need to have complete knowledge of what we're doing. When we have that, after every failure or after every step, when we have a question, am I on the right path? Is this still achievable? Or should I go back? Should I take a different path? When this question arises, the first thing is self-introspection, where you ask your own self. The second thing is also probably reaching out to a right person. Now, this right person is a tricky choice. This cannot be anybody. This is somebody who is also fully aware, probably a right teacher, right mentor, whom you have always looked up to, whom you can open up to. At times, a good counselor. So either of them can be opened up. You speak out, you speak to your own self, and then you definitely will find the right path. So this, the whole fact that you're realizing that such a question has arisen to yourself is the idea that you're thinking, you're not just blindly doing, you're not just adamant about what you're doing, you're ready to readjust yourself to achieve what you want to achieve. That keeps you alive, that keeps you organic. So self-introspection is the biggest idea. With that, some right guidance, some right consultation will definitely work.
Yeah, and I also think, just adding a couple of points to that, Prashant, I don't think there is anything called as a right or the wrong path, right? We never know what that path will take us to finally. There's no guarantee of where we are going towards. So as long as, I totally believe in what I'm doing, and I know in my heart and mind that, it's the right way without harming anything, including my own self, I think I can still make that choice and go ahead. So Perfect. It's about, I think it's about just hearing yourself and going forward, introspect and go forward, right? Is that
one should not be rigid at any point of time.
Yeah.
You need to adapt, readapt, because it demands that from one person, because it's dynamic.
Yeah.
The exam pattern is dynamic. What is there today may not be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
The idea of looking at events may be dynamic.
Yeah.
India and America may be great friends today, and an event happens, and tomorrow there are not so great friends. So
Yeah.
the way you write answers, the way you look at some relations might change. So you,
Yeah.
as dynamic as the events are, as dynamic your learning should be, as dynamic your approach should be. So
Yeah.
if you are ready to be dynamic, your readjustment will always come.
Yeah. Thanks, Prashant. Thank you for that. Ritesh, there's one question directly to you again. It says, my question to Ritesh, sir. According to RK, sir, there are 3 steps to have realistic dreams. What are the same when it comes to theater or to be on screen? What steps needs to be followed? What would you suggest?
I think, again, very good question. I think it might not be the same, but if I were to put RK's gold model of 3-step process, I think one of the first things is to register yourself to something like this. For example, if I had not taken that step, I wouldn't have even gone to the second step. So grabbing the opportunity when it shows, irrespective of, oh, I have a 9-to-9 job, I have a kid, I have this and that, ensuring that you take up an initiation or initiate something is the start, because a lot of people have what we call as starting trouble. And if you don't start, you never realize that even it's a part of your dream, or you're even going to walk on it. It becomes such a ambiguous situation. So once you initiate, the second thing you need to do is you need to prepare, right? When we do Ramlila, it's at least 4 or 5 weeks of an hour a week preparation for 4 months, which is a lot of time, but it also teaches a lot. When you do rehearsals, it helps you understand your culture better. It helps you make friends. In a country which is not yours, you need friends. You need friends to guide you. You need your friends when you're sad or when you need any kind of help. They're always there. And the most important part of life really is to go through this journey, and every time that we practice, we get to know about each other. We get to know about each other's good and the bad. How can we look? Let's say I'm looking at a scene which is not mine. There's so much to learn from that. How someone is delivering a dialogue, how he's standing, everything, contributes to your journey of preparation. And like Prashant previously said, you need to have some knowledge too, right? So when I prepare for Ravan, I live pretty much like him, in the sense I walk like him. People are like, why are you like walking like Ravan all the time? With eyes opened up, always talking loudly, all the actions are restless, pretty much defines who I am anyways. But preparing and being in that state of mind most of the time through the day is important to even understand. And Ravan, a lot of people know that he's an evil person, but he also had his good side. So that's a critical point. I would actually say that as much as there is a hero in us, there is a villain in us too, which we need to understand, right? According to me, success is the villain and hero is the failure. If we see it that way, we become the most important, which is humble and grounded. I think that is step number 3, because that is the point where after intense preparation, you might either fall down or, people might be applauding and clapping on stage. And all of a sudden, Ritesh as Ravan, walks in and drops his sword, which I did, and I call that overconfidence, which can happen to every human being. So realize through the preparation process, through your journey, there will be times when you'll be overconfident too. So that is what all of us need to understand, that there's nothing wrong in agreeing that either you are overconfident, you were a failure, no matter what. So if someone calls you a failure,
you're the hero.
Over there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think my biggest takeaway from what you guys spoke today, a lot of things. One of the things for sure is, Ritesh, what you said, success is the villain and the failure is the hero, because only through failure I can experience more. Only through failure I can learn more. Thank you so much for that wisdom. I think I'll take it away for a very, very long time. RK, over to you. This is a question again, I think which you can talk about it very well, because I think you've been walking this path. So he says, the question is again from Neeladri. He says, when passion and profession becomes one and things don't go the way it's planned or we thought, what happens then? Because your passion and your profession is the same and it does not go your way. A lot of challenges for sure every day, right? What do you do there?
Yeah, definitely. So when something like that happens, as in there is a lot of conflicts that you'll go through. First, you'll have to sit down and understand where the conflict is coming from, what is your strength and what is your weakness. So again, since you've achieved that first dream or your passion and profession, you've combined them, that is your ultimate goal.
Yeah.
You have done that. That is when you sit and understand that even when you've combined it, there are weaknesses that you'll have to look into. There are things that you're not perfect at. There are things that you have combined them, but there are aspects that can bring you down. So you'll have to understand as to where those weaknesses are, and you'll have to see if you can, rectify them by understanding yourself, or rectify them by learning a course, or rectify them by any other medium, talking to some mentors, or trying to fix that through any other medium, or telling anyone else in your profession or in your career who's managing that to handle that part of the business or that part of the profession, and try and make that or try and cut that out, or make that a strength. That is something that you'll have to look at. But also, while doing the entire process, you should never forget about the strength that you have. So most of the times, we human beings concentrate on only 20% of the things, and the 20% of the things becomes 80% successful. That is the 80-20 rule that the world runs by. So try and concentrate on things that will work for you, and the ones that didn't work for you, ensure that you learn from it, rectify it, and then go back to it. That is one thing that I look at.
In fact, I remember yesterday when we had this discussion, RK, I remember you also shedding light on saying there's a lot of things when things don't go fine, we look at what is that one thing which went fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this happens with all my partners that we are in the business right now. So each week or each day when we call, there are a lot of mistakes that keep happening. So we keep discussing on the mistakes.
Yeah.
But also we look at the positive side of things that have happened. So this has happened, this little success has happened. This is something that we can build on. So we concentrate on those little successes rather than the many failures that we would have faced. And building on those successes, I think we have come a long way. So if we had concentrated only on our failures, we would have closed shop long ago and we would have done and dusted by it. Because failure is something that is very heavy to deal with, but success is something that is light and crisp and people just enjoy it when it is there.
Yeah.
And 1 minute of failure can take a person's entire lifetime to forget about it. But a person might be successful for years together and he will not enjoy it because fearing of failure.
Yeah.
I think no one should be afraid of failing, because the minute they are afraid to fail, I think they're giving a great opportunity to learn. The minute they think that this is the end of it, I think that is where they stop learning, because life, according to me, is a continuous learning process. You just can't stop learning. It might be a degree that you achieve. A degree is just a paper that states that you have got something, but in the real world, that paper has no value, because it just might give you a job, but it will not keep giving you a job. They will always look at what you have done, what is the work that you have done. I think many companies around the world are ditching the degree and going to skill, going to places where they identify that this person can do certain job, then he or she is the game changer. So,
thank you, RK. I think that beautifully answers. So look at what you said is look at your strengths, look at your small little successes that you've got your way, and take it ahead from there, right? Yes. So this is a question to you, Prashant. This is from Jagjit Singh. I think Jagjit was also a student of PES. I remember him seeing the picture. Hello, Jagjit. So the question is this, Prashant. It says failure, success, manifestation of dreams. Is it a reality? Is this all virtual? Is this all artificial? Can we specifically say what's the right path? Or do we even have any path? Can we get answers to our questions from anywhere else? Is it all real or is it all virtual? What is this, Prashant? What are dreams? What is all this that's happening?
Jagjit, I mean, see, dream is not abstract. So if you want to make it real, your dream has to be real. Like RK said, it's not about being Captain America tomorrow. It's not about being Prime Minister of India day after. You need to know clearly where you're heading to and what your path is. So when you know where you're heading to, you chart your path. There need not be one golden way of doing it or one golden rule to do it. That is foolish. You chart your path. Your path may be innovative. Your path may take some extra time, but that's your path. Your originality lies. And trust me, the world appreciates originality. So that, UPSC, the answers you write, as long as they are your answers, they are valued more. The more you by heart something and just try to dump it there. So chart your own path. That will come when you know what you're doing. So I will stress it back again. Knowledge about the right path is important. You chart your path. When you have the knowledge about what you want to do and you're sure about what you want to do, you chart that path. And when you're charting your path, again, you need not be fixed over it and say, I've charted and that I have to walk it, because as you're walking, there'll be so many learnings that will come. Let's stop calling it failures now. We'll call it learnings. So there'll many learnings that will come, which will allow you to take that small deviation and then get back to it. So that is something that will always make it meaningful. That is something that will always help you achieve what you want to achieve. So you keep charting your own path. Each one has your own way to go through it.
So probably it's about initially it's all just in my mind, but what happens to what's in my mind is what I define it, is what you're saying. Is that right, Prashant?
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prashant. Ritesh, over to you. This, I think, again, from what I know about you, I think you're the right person to take this question. This is from a girl who had also written earlier to me saying, I don't know what my dream is. My bigger problem is that. And she continues to ask here. This is from Anjali. She says, when did you realize that this was your dream? Did you always know? What did it feel like when it hit you that this is what I want to do with my life? How did you feel it? How did you know that this was a dream?
I think, what's important is realization of dream does not have to happen when you're 5 years old, 15 years old, 25 years old, 50, 75, 99. Doesn't matter. People say that, oh, you need to start dreaming early. You need to realize, as they said, even Ritik says, Lakshya hona chahiye. But, we have to understand that going through and getting a dream is also a journey. We all will find our dreams no matter what. And it doesn't have to be a dream. It can be dreams, right? So that's also important to understand. So let's say when all through my career, obviously all of us are in a constant race, competing with each other. We want more money, we want that and this. But there is that one point where something that you do, let's say you go out and help someone. Let's say you go out on stage. Let's say you play cricket. Let's say you're in the wrestling ring, whatever. There's going to be a time when there's going to be goosebumps and you say, oh my God, that absolutely felt like I am living my journey, living my dream. And that is when that actually voice will come within you. So when I auditioned for the first time as Ravan, and when that laughter came out of me, is that point when I felt I am free. I'm finally free, and I'm finally going to do something that I want. Usually we all end up living for each other, which is also okay. For example, if anyhow, even in the slightest, minutest way, if I'm able to help RK or Prashant realize their dream, I should go for it. Everything is a catalyst, right? Where, let's say when I'm talking to someone, that is when you might realize that, oh, there is this opportunity, and then you go and find it, and that becomes your dream. Very important thing to find a dream is to communicate, right? If you are within yourself, you're only going to realize that the dream was a dream. Right? And that's going to be too late. I'll tell you why it's too late, because you wouldn't have changed as a person, right? The only thing that matters with age is you have to learn to communicate as early as possible, because the late that you go, you will either be running out of friends, or you'll be running out of health to go out and make friends. So ensure that you communicate. There are a lot of people. When I was in Shimoga, in my class of 2009, there were so many of my friends who could not communicate, right? So all we were talking to each other before campus placements or whatnot was let's open up. Even if you're talking absolute rubbish, let's talk to each other, right? We used to hold group discussions and have random topics, talk about bus transportation in the college, and used to start yell at each other. Oh, that bus is better, this bus is better. But that initiated people to talk, right? So we all need, for example, here Krupalini is the moderator, right? Ultimately, she's asking us questions and better help us align our thoughts. Similarly, we need to be within ourselves, try to contact each other, communicate with a lot of people, and ask questions. Keep asking questions. That's what our lecturer said, right? No question is silly, no question is stupid. Ask that question. That question will give you an answer, and that answer will start the first step of dreaming.
Correct. So Ritesh, so two important points that I heard from you very clearly and evidently that you mentioned is, one, I think you know that the dream has hit you when you have no boundaries, and saying, wow, this is me, and you're experiencing yourself to the fullest. And also what I heard from you is, after that, when you're thinking, keep communicating, keep asking people, is this right? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I getting it right? Is there something else? Keep listening to people so that they can answer, right?
Well, one thing I would correct there is, don't keep asking people if what you are doing is correct.
Yeah.
Because people will say no, right?
Correct.
People will say, oh, this is not for you. There's someone else who's better. What you need to ask people is there anything I can do better? Right? Not ask whether I'm right.
Whether I'm right. Perfect.
You are always right, but you have to be better.
Yeah. There was, RK, over to you. There was another question which had come, and I think something which really touched me when I saw that question is, this person asked, saying, I'm scared of walking the journey alone. I think if I follow my dream, the biggest problem for me is I have to walk it alone. Why should I walk it alone when when my family and friends and everybody is telling me to do something else and they are with me? Is it, what takes for me to go alone? Why should I do it alone, and how do I do it alone? Mostly, how do I do it alone?
Okay. To start off, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So first, I think you'll have to encourage yourself to take that first step. Even when India was fighting its freedom, I think the first freedom fighters, when they were set out to get freedom, no one supported them. But they kept going at it because they believed in an idea. So the first thing that you'll have to concentrate and believe in yourself is the idea that you create. Is this the idea for me? Is this something that I can achieve? Is this the dream that I think is realistic and achievable? That is the first step of going there. So once you understand that this idea is something that you can achieve, that is when you take that first step. The minute you start taking that first step, I guess everyone will just come and appreciate you and start following you, or will accompany you in this journey. There is not a single person who has achieved this dream and he's still solo.
Yeah.
Because as and when you start achieving things, people come around you and applaud, and then they understand the struggle that you went through.
Yeah.
There is resistance in every field that you go to. As in, if I quit everything and tell I'll want to do something else, there will be resistance, because that is something that no one knows or no one is comfortable doing with.
Yeah.
So if first point is to do enough research, enough looking into it, and trying to understand if that person or that human being is capable of doing it. I'm not trying to say that no one is capable of, but is this a realistic dream? Is this a realistic goal? Understand that and try and achieve it. So there is resistance. Don't be afraid that you'll be alone. Always look at the fact that you are the biggest hero you will ever be in your life. You're writing your life story. So that point is when you'll know that you're not alone, because you are the person who's feeding that dream. You're going to be the person who's going to live that life. So
beautifully said, RK. I think wonderful thoughts there. Thank you so much. So I think we're almost to the end of our conversation. We want to hear from each of you your closing notes on dreams, destinies, and desires. What is it that you want everybody to take away from each of you? Your closing thoughts. We'll start with you, Prashant.
See, dream is something I mean, there's enough about dreams that, it's not about in the night, it's about what you want to do and all. Dream is something that should always keep you alive. There is no time where you say that my dream has been achieved, it's over. Dream is a journey. You keep living through it. It keeps innovating its own self. It keeps throwing challenges at you. And don't do anything for anybody else. Do it for your own self because it's your dream. When you're living it, you will have followers, you will have critics, you will have everybody. You're living your dream.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, for some of them who feel I didn't get anything that interests me. So when will I get my dream? Or there is some frustration that sometimes builds in, and I'm not doing things like what many of them are doing it. So will I ever get a dream? So that also need not creep in. Live your life full, live your life happily. There will be a point, like Ritesh said, that you'll feel free. You'll feel that this is me. And then probably you're living your dream without your own knowledge. Yeah. So you need not wait for anything to happen. You need not wait. There's suddenly not something that will fall from the heaven and say, this was your dream. It will slowly build in as you live your life, as it goes into. So it's all about being happy. It's all about achieving that happiness that you want to. Do it for yourself. Keep dreaming. And this is what allows the world to be alive, allows you to be alive, and keeps everything around you happy. So it's all about happiness.
Yeah. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you so much for those thoughts. Over to you, Ritesh. Your closing thoughts.
I think what is really important to even have a dream is, most importantly, contribute. I think contributing in the most smallest things at home, or whether it's when you go out, when you start contributing is when you start learning. When you start learning is when you start realizing that these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas where I possibly can contribute. And when you start contributing, you start liking it, and you start liking it slowly. That goosebump moment will come when you feel, oh wow. And like Prashant says, living through it is also a dream. A dream doesn't have to be a big swashbuckling huge moment. It doesn't have to be that. A lot of people say zindagi ke raste bhi mujhe apna sapna dikha. I could see my dream also while walking through the hardships of life. So that component of a dream, and also ensuring that you reach a particular destiny. For me, destiny is not a single stop. It is multiple stops where you pick yourself up, improve. Oh, Ritesh 1.0, 2.0. It never should stop. And like I always say, even in my life here, make as many friends as you can. As much as possible, be positive. I know this sounds like gyan, but if you start being, especially in these times, in a COVID situation where everyone's at home, lockdown, there's already enough negativity. So being positive and encouraging yourself when you do even the slightest thing good is the first avenue of you starting to dream. So I would really encourage everyone, who's out there going through life, whether it's a kid who's in the 10th standard or in 12th standard, who's trying to, look for a career, or whether it is hardworking mothers or fathers, or storytelling grandparents, or hardworking laborers, whoever they are, if your first job gives you enough to eat, try to see if there's something else which also allows you to live. I think that is very important. There is, we should not say, oh, I have a full-time job, I don't have any more time. So please stop writing to anyone that you are busy. You just are never busy. If you're busy, your dream is also busy.
Yeah. Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you for those wonderful thoughts. RK, over to you for your closing thoughts.
Yeah, ma'am. I think most of what Ritesh sir and Mr. Prashant have already put it. They've put in what I had to tell. But I'll want to bring in a few aspects to it. One is age. Mr. Colonel Sanders, KFC owner, started it at the age of 65. KFC was started when he was 65. So don't stop dreaming. Don't stop thinking that, it is not possible for you. Personal experience for me, my dad, he also models. He's 63 now. So he looks at different avenues and tries and, does whatever makes him happy. So which is a great takeaway from this talk is, as Mr. Prashant was saying, look at it as happiness model, and look where you will be happy. That is where you need to learn. The second thing that I will want to talk about is, don't look at us as role models or any of it. Look at it as a possibility model that, we have done it. It is possible by many of them who are out there. If we can do it, I'm not trying to put down anyone over here. I'm just trying to tell that we are all common people who have been in the same spectrum of economy, middle class, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We have had that dream of going out there and trying to get whatever we wanted for ourselves. So it is a possibility model. So lastly, I would want to quote from a book that I was reading recently, The Psychology of Winning by Dr. Dennis Waitley. He says that when there is life, there is hope. Where there are hopes, there are dreams. And where there are vivid dreams, repeatedly, they become goals. And once those goals are set, they become reality. So try and achieve to have hope in life, and those hope becomes dream. And again, when those dreams are repeatedly taken care of, they become goals. And once you set yourself with a goal, a human with a goal is always a dangerous person to be around, because he's on a mission or she's on a mission to do something great. That is the possibility model that I will want to tell the people out there.
Yeah, beautiful, RK. I think, all three of you mentioned it so well. This is what is the definition of Project Nyan for me, because when I actually conceived this thought, it was not to bring in celebrities and tell the world saying, hey guys, these are people who are successful. I know personally all three of you on a personal note, and I think we are as normal as every other person who's actually attended this talk today, right? And these are our own experiences, and we are no way different from the rest of the people. And this is our journey that we have gone through. And probably RK was successful. He saw what he wanted to see. Probably Prashant did not see what he wanted to see, but he's seeing much more beyond than what he wanted to see. Ritesh never knew what he wanted to see. He realized it a little later, and he didn't have to compromise. He had to make adjustments probably to say, okay, you know what, the dreams can still be achieved. So that comes to the end of our discussion. So what I'm taking back today as a moderator from this is, I think all dreams can be achieved as long as they're realistic, and as long as I really want to do it, and I am ready to love myself, to sit down and hear myself. And also probably, it's okay even if I fail, because I think that's just the stepping stone for me to take up a new path. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining. It was wonderful learning from all of you.
Thank you, Kripalini. Thank you.
Yeah, there are a lot more questions out there. I'm sorry I couldn't take a lot of them. So if you guys have time, please do check out and, please do answer them. And the rest of you guys, please do recommend, if you like the talks that we are doing, please do recommend the page, get people to, to join. We're going to have much more talks coming up every once in a week. And these are real people. So I hope that, we can all learn and share from each other. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, and see you later.
Bye, everyone. All the best.
See you
All the
soon.
best. Bye, RK. Bye, Prashant.
Bye.
Bye, Ritesh. Bye.
Bye. Bye.